Some people appear unusually strong as adults, but that strength often has a story that began in childhood. Children who endure too much too early don't always appear broken. In fact, many of them appear unusually strong, calm, responsible, mature. But sometimes that strength is not a natural trait. It's something the mind learned in order to survive. Childhood is supposed to be the stage where the brain learns safety, curiosity, and emotional support. But when a child grows up facing constant pressure, conflict, emotional neglect, or responsibilities beyond their age, the mind adapts differently. Instead of learning comfort, the brain learns endurance. And while this adaptation can create resilience, it can also quietly shape the way that person experiences emotions, relationships, and self-worth later in life. What makes this difficult to recognize is that many children who endure hardship don't show obvious signs. They often become the strong one, the one who handles things quietly. But the psychology behind that strength is more complex than it seems. The truth most people miss: when children face prolonged stress, the brain begins developing coping patterns much earlier than it should. Instead of relying on support, the child begins relying on internal control. Over time, endurance becomes part of their identity, and this can leave subtle psychological traces that follow them into adulthood. To understand this better, here are several psychological patterns often seen in people who had to endure too much during childhood. Number 1, they often become emotionally self-reliant very early. When support isn't consistently available, children learn to process their emotions alone. This can make them appear independent and mature, but it can also make it difficult for them to ask for help later in life. Number 2, they may struggle to fully relax. Growing up in unpredictable or stressful environments teaches the brain to stay alert. Even in calm situations, the mind can remain watchful, as if expecting something to go wrong. Number 3, they sometimes develop a strong sense of responsibility toward others. Children who had to manage situations early often grow into adults who feel responsible for everyone's well-being. While this can make them compassionate and dependable, it can also leave them emotionally exhausted. Number 4, they may find it difficult to express vulnerability. When showing emotions didn't lead to comfort in childhood, the brain learns to protect itself by staying composed. As adults, they may appear calm even when carrying heavy emotional burdens. Number 5, they often become highly observant of people's moods. Children who grow up around tension or conflict naturally become skilled at reading emotional cues. This awareness helps them avoid problems, but it can also make them overly sensitive to changes in others' behavior. Number 6, another pattern is feeling older than their age. Even as adults, many people who endured a lot in childhood describe feeling as though they skipped a stage of life. Responsibilities and emotional weight arrived long before they were ready. Number 7, they may struggle with self-worth despite being capable. Because much of their childhood was spent coping rather than being encouraged, recognition and validation may have been limited. As a result, their achievements may feel less meaningful than they actually are. Number 8, trust can also take longer to develop. When stability and support were uncertain early in life, the mind becomes cautious about relying on others. Building trust may require time and consistent reassurance. Number 9, and finally, many people who endured difficult childhoods develop a powerful resilience. Despite the challenges they faced, they learned to navigate complex situations with strength and adaptability. But true healing begins when endurance is no longer the only survival strategy. If some of these patterns feel familiar, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Often, it simply means your mind adapted to circumstances that required strength too early. Understanding these patterns can be an important step toward balance. Strength does not have to mean carrying everything alone. Learning to allow support, rest, and emotional expression can help the brain replace survival patterns with healthier ones. And with awareness, endurance can slowly transform into genuine resilience. Parents, childhood experiences quietly shape the emotional foundation a child carries into adulthood. Small things matter more than we often realize. Listening with patience, responding with calm, and allowing children to express themselves without fear can make a lasting difference. And for those who endured a lot while growing up, how do you think it influenced the way you see the world today? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to explore more psychological insights about childhood, behavior, and human emotions, subscribe for more videos.